Yo, what is going on, guys? JC here, and welcome back to another tutorial video. In today's video, we're going to be looking at getting our 7 Days to Die server up and running. We're going to be using Muddy Waters game server management host to do this. I prefer using Muddy Waters over any of the other game serving host companies out there. They've got numerous games on, fast support. The servers have never given me any trouble. I strongly recommend, if you guys are looking for a hosting company to go with, you're going to want to go with Muddy Waters game server management. So if you order a server through them, or if you order a server, I don't know who you're going to be ordering it from, it's all pretty much the same. Whenever you order a server, you're going to have your server down here and it's going to say pending. Once the server is finally done, you can go ahead and click into it, and then you're going to be brought to a interface panel like this. So once on the interface panel, the server will be stopped. And before you start your server for the first time, there's going to be some things that you're going to have to do. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into our configuration files. Now we have a server admin, and then we have a server config main. We're going to be doing our editing into the server config main first. Now there is a config editor that's nice and simple and sweet, or you can get into a more in-depth config like this, which basically gives you a explanation as to what everything does. So if you look up here, the server name, whatever you want the name of your server to be. So this is where we're going to name our server. The server description, whatever you want the server description to be. So this server is hosted by Gamingwithjc for our community to play on. Website URL, this will be shown in the server browser as a clickable link. So if you want to put your Discord server here, if you have a website, if you want to put your Twitch account, whatever the case may be, this is where you would post that link. Server password, it's pretty self-explanatory. The server login confirmation text, so this is where you would put something like, you could put your rules, or you could say, hey, make sure to join the Discord, or if there's any issues, report it to the Discord, something like that. They actually have to click OK before they go into the server. So it's just a cool little place to put some rules, put some common information that you want your players to see. If you don't want anything there, you just leave it blank. You need the parenthesis, or the exclamation, or oh my lord, you need the quotation marks, duh. But if you take away one of these quotation marks, this will happen and you will break the code. So even if you don't have anything there, make sure you leave both quotation marks there. And then the region. So this is, Muddy Waters is from a North American East server host. That's where the servers are located right now. So I'm going to leave this as North American East. But if you want your server to be hosted in, for instance, Europe, the server itself will still be an American server, but it will show up in the Europe region section on the launcher. So I would recommend keeping this wherever your server is actually being hosted from. Don't try and change it, because UK players will still get a tremendous increase in ping, even though it's showing up in Europe launchers. So if you're in Europe, you keep it Europe. If you're in Russia, you keep it Russia. America, you keep it American. Coming down to the networking, you can pretty much leave all of this alone. Server players, this again is done by the server itself whenever you order the server, so you can kind of just leave that alone. The admin interfaces, if you really want to change the web dashboard, you can. There are mods to do this, so you just leave this alone. Really what we're going to come down to, and I want to focus on, is right here is the gameplay. So if we come here to this gameplay, the world settings, so by default, it's going to say Navsgain. Now, if you want a Navsgain map, by all means, you keep it Navsgain. If you want it to be Pregen 01, then you would put Pregen 01 here, Pregen 02, so on and so forth. But if you want it to be a randomly generated world, you need to put RWG, as I've done right here. So RWG is how we're going to have it. The world gen seed, which is pretty much the name of the map. So if I do gaming with JC, that means that is my randomly generated world. Every single seed name will have a completely different world attached to it. There's no two randomly generated worlds. It's all based on the seed. So for instance, if you want this, if I was to do gaming with JC 1, it's going to be a completely different map than just gaming with JC. So I've chose gaming with JC as my seed. This basically names your world. The gen size 8192, this is an 8K map. So There's 3 map styles you can have. I believe it's 4K, 8K, and 16K. There might be 10. There used to be 10K. I don't know if 1.0 has 10K maps. I'm pretty sure it does, but you need to have the multiplier needs to be the correct number. I will put down in the description. I will put the different world sizes that you can have, because if I was to change this to just 8,000, the server will not start. The world will be wrong. So this has to be the right multiplicative number, and I will put those in the description below. The game name, I usually just keep it to seed. So what this does is this creates a folder inside the server folders, like in the file browsers. So it's just, if you have different maps or different worlds, it's very easy to find out what world you're going to. That's why I just kind of keep this the same name as the seed. And then of course the game mode, we're playing a survival mode. If you want this creative, you would do game mode creative. If not, it's game mode survival. And then the rest of these settings are pretty much just the same settings that you would get if you were setting up like an offline server. So you have the difficulty settings, the zombie settings, the experience multipliers, the loot multipliers. Everything gets changed in here. So once you've made all of the changes you want, you can go ahead and close the server, or close that down, save and exit, of course. I don't need to save anything, so I just closed it. And then we're going to come over to our server admin custom. So you're going to open up your text editor again. Now, when you first come into this file, it's going to look like this. There's not going to be any admins. I'm adding myself as an admin. So you're going to just copy what this message says. Admin Steam ID equals my number. Permission levels is going to be a 0. So if you scroll down here to the permissions, you'll see that there are different commands, and they each have a 0s and a 1. Moderators would get a 1, admins would get a 0. So for this instance, a moderator and an admin can kick a player, but only an admin can spawn something into the world using the command prompt in the game. So this is where you would kind of designate who you want to be an admin, who you want to be a moderator. If it's your server, I would strongly recommend you just being an admin, and then you go from there. So once you're done with that, you would save and exit. I'm just going to close it out, and then you're good to go. So at this point, you're good to start your server. So once you start your server, for the very first time, it's going to take quite a while to basically generate the map. So once the server says it's running, if you open up the console here, the web console, you're going to see a bunch of jargon coming through here, and it's going to kind of basically just going through a bunch of stuff. This is where the very first time you do it, this is where it's going to generate the map. It's going to build the POIs. It's going to build the towns, the whole 9. So this could take upwards of about 2 minutes, 3 minutes, depending on the size of the map. A 4K is obviously a lot faster than an 8K or a 16K, but there's going to be a message where it's going to tell you, hey, success. The game server has started. Once you get that message at the very bottom of it, you know your server is good to go and everything was fine. If you ever have any crashes or any issues, this web console will tell you what's wrong. Like, this will direct you where you need to go to fix your issues. So while this is loading, I've already done this. So while that's loading, we're going to talk about installing mods. Mods on here is very, very, very simple. So unlike a DayZ server or anything like that, you don't really have a Steam Workshop. Okay, so there's no Steam Workshop to just automatically install your mods and call it done. You actually have to manually go to them, and you manually have to upload them the old school way. So Muddy Waters has 7 Days to Die Nexus mods already kind of built in. You just click this link and it takes you to their website. I personally don't like Nexus mods. If you like Nexus mods, you can, by all means, you use their servers. I prefer 7 Days to Die mods. I just like this website a little bit better. That's what I've always used. So scroll on down, and then we're going to find a mod that we want. In this case, we're just going to do the 60 slot inventory mod. So you would click this mod, and then you would scroll down here and you would click download. So it's already in my downloads, as you can see right here. So once it's downloaded, oh crap. Once it's downloaded, let's pull this back up. Sorry. Go back into our server. Once it's downloaded, we're going to go to our file managers, and then we have a mods folder that's already been placed in here for us. So we have our mods folder. We're going to open up our download folder and just drag the entire zip folder in here, and then we're just going to right click and hit extract. Once we extract, it will extract the mod folder into your mods. This is what you need. Inside this folder, you'll have the mod info, the config, and all this. I would highly recommend do not mess with any of this unless you know what you're doing. Other than that, just let the mod be the mod. So once you install this mod, again, you would start your server back up and everything would be good. The mod would be installed because it's a server side mod. If you want to use a mod like Warzuk, where it's a complete overhaul mod, that is a server and a client mod. So your players on your server would be required to download the same mod and have that mod in their mods folder under their 7 Days to Die the 7 Days to Die common workshop. You know, basically their root directory for 7 Days to Die. They would have to have that mod installed as well, otherwise they would not be able to play. So if that's the case, I would strongly recommend in your server's description say, hey, we're running Warzuk, blah blah blah. That way it'll tell them, oh crap, I need to install this mod. So once we've restarted our server and all that kind of good stuff, I'll show you the message. This is the message that you're looking for right here. So Steamworks game server successful log on. There's your Steam ID, the public IP. This tells me that my server is turned on, my server is running, and I will be able to join it. So the last thing what we're going to look at and what we're going to do is we're going to set up server restarts. So you can't let your server run 24 hours a day. The chunk size will get too big. You'll have a lot of server performance. So to do that, we're going to come over here to our scheduled tasks. Now I'm going to let me just delete these real quick. So, right, this is what it's going to look like when you start. You're going to have no scheduled tasks whatsoever. So what you're going to do is you're going to click a new, and you'll see from the drop down menu, you could do Steam updates, you could do run console commands, you can back up your world, all that kind of good stuff. But in this instance, we're just going to do a scheduled restart. So we're going to hit new, and let's just call this the, if for instance, say you just want to have a daily restart. We're going to do a 12 a.m. restart. We're going to run this daily. We're going to choose tomorrow, of course, at midnight. Well, tonight at midnight. And then we're going to reoccur daily. And then we would just hit save. So now our server is going to restart one time a day at midnight every single day. But now say you want this to have this every 6 hours or every 4 hours. So we would do the daily, reoccur every day, and then we're going to repeat the task, and we're going to repeat it for every 4. We come over here to hours, and then we set this to 24 hours. So that means for every 4 hours for one whole day, it's going to repeat this task. So we hit save, and now we have just set our server to restart every 4 hours. I will be warned, or just be warned, going through this message or going through this way, there is no message that lets your players know that there is a restart. So something to put in your description or something to let your players know is, hey, the server is going to restart every day every 4 hours, and then give them the time frames. That way they're not in the middle of a quest or they're not middle of doing something and then they automatically just get kicked off the server. Because there are no messages that say, hey, the server's fixing to restart. So it's something to probably let your players know, hey, every 4 hours there's a server restart. It's probably really good to put that in like your confirmation log on, and you figure that out. But this is how you set up your restarts to basically run every time. Now there's a way you can do this where you can make it to where you would, if you want to wait till there's nobody on the server, you could do wait till empty, and then it will do the restart. Or you could just, if players are connected, you just force the restart and they just get kicked off. Or if there's players on, you can skip that restart and it'll wait till the next one. So there's a little bit of options that you can do here with this. I just do it as a force a restart, and even if there's players connected, they just get kicked off. I just let my players know, hey, every 4 hours Eastern time, this is the restart times. That way they know to log off a few minutes before so they don't get rolled back or anything. And that's pretty much it. Your 7 Days to Die server is up running and it's ready to be played on. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it helped out. Like I said, it seems daunting, but it's actually very, very simple to get these servers going. And like I said, we're using Muddy Waters for this. I highly recommend Muddy Waters for all of your game server needs. They've got numerous games under their belt. The servers are great. The servers run fast, and it's very, very fast service. If you have any issues with it, they get back with you very quickly and they make it right. So I would highly recommend using Muddy Waters for your server host. You could use my code Gamingwithjc. You get 10% off your first month. And I'm also, I believe they're running some other promos right now. So definitely check these guys out. If you've already have a server host situated, I understand this is pretty much the same way. And if you're doing a locally hosted server, it's the same way as this. The mods, you just don't have a fancy interface, you know, but it's all pretty much the same stuff. So hopefully this helped. If it did, a thumbs up would be greatly appreciated. Subscribe. If you have any issues or any questions, leave them in the comments below and I'll be sure to get to them as quick as I can. But I appreciate you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll talk to you later. Love you. Bye.